Welcome to Ask the Expert North Texas here on News Radio 1080 KRLD. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm David Rankin.
And I'm Kristen Diaz. There is a new customer experience holiday survival guide from customer engagement technology provider Verint. And it's showing that 60% of retailers are saying that they're having a hard time finding qualified candidates for the holiday season to come and work for their store during this time of year, as we know has the highest demand. Rich Hollander, managing partner of Axcelora, joins us this afternoon to talk about why is this an issue when everyone seems right now to need some extra bucks in their pocket.
So I would tell you it's not a new issue. I started in retail in 1972. And every year since 1972, when it comes around the holiday time, retailers work very hard to find extra people. So when I knew I was going to be interviewed, I went and reached out to some of my friends that are in the retail business just to get this year's particulars. And while this year's a little bit more difficult, what they've done is started recruiting early. Normally, they wouldn't start recruiting until November 1st, but the retailers this year are started recruiting in October. So they're ahead of the game a little bit.
When retailers are recruiting people to come in for those 2-3 months, what kind of people are they looking for?
They're looking for people that can listen to the customers and present their product for the customers for what customers are looking for. And it really depends on the retailer. So a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci who just opened in Fort Worth, they're going to be looking for a different customer than Dollar Tree is going to be looking for, or Target, or one of those type of stores. You know, there's some stores that are selling, so you need somebody that is a good salesperson. In some store, the real craft is making sure the merchandise is out of the back room, put into on the store shelves, priced correctly, where the customers can see what they're getting.
For small business owners that are needing the extra help for this time of year, they've gone through already a lot of challenges. To get somebody off the street at this point, just to fill bodies into these roles, how much is a detriment for maybe not having enough time or qualified, people to hire for training purposes and, customer service purposes and the branding, just putting anybody there?
The best people they should be looking at are the people that are shopping in their stores. Those people have already demonstrated that they like the merchandise. They probably have some knowledge of the merchandise, and they can be enthusiastic about presenting that merchandise to the consumers that are walking in the door. So that's the best place, and has been the best place for the 50 years that I've been in the retail business.
Are retailers also looking towards those that have retired from full-time positions in order to come in and do part-time work?
Absolutely. I've written about this idea of a purpose in life. So I am 74 years old, and I've worked my whole life. And I thought about retirement when I was in my late 40s. And I realized that I need a purpose in life to be able to go through life. And so there's a lot of seniors that are saying, I don't want to work full time, but I would work 20 hours a week. I'd work 25 hours a week. I'd work 1 day a week. I'd work your busiest shifts for you. And they know how to talk to people. They know how to treat people. And they know how they want to be treated. And so that is a big part of retail. Was 50 years ago. One of my part-time employees was old in my mind back then. So when I was 22, he was probably 60. And, and 60 today is the new 40, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. So. Of course it is. And we wanted to know, what about when we talk about retail hire, what about the flip of everything going online, people going to Instagram to buy? How does that change the hiring process, or how people are selected for the hiring process for these employees or employers?
So, if you have an employer that is looking for people that just want to work in warehouse or distribution for the e-commerce part, that's very different than the people that are fronting the customer inside a retail store. But even in a retail store today, customers can find part of their merchandise in the store, where they might find other merchandise not on, or find it online, or see something online and they say, I want to see it in person. And so many retailers are making that, some call it omni-channel. I just think they're making the total retail experience interact with each other. And you're seeing more and more brick and mortar retailers really embrace that. You're also seeing e-com retailers like Untuckit move to retail stores, and they become showrooms for their online merchandise. And they find that where they put a retail store, their online sales go up. So it's actually a very inexpensive way for them to reach the consumer for the, again, if you look at their whole shopping area.
Amazon's done the very same thing in opening up brick and mortar stores in various malls around the country. When it comes to these jobs that are temporary for the holidays, how many of those jobs and how many of those people are actually looking for something to go beyond the holidays into full-time work?
I don't think I know the answer to that. It's a good place for you to get a quick peek at what an employee will look like in the future. Retail has high turnover just by its nature. And so this is a time where you can say, okay, I'll look at these people. Some of them are going to go away. Some of them will stay on, and they'll have gotten the culture. And I think retailers today are working very hard on their culture because they've learned that culture trumps strategy every time. If you have a good culture, look at the Disney culture. The people that work in those stores help their guests. They don't help the customers, right? And they interact with their cast members. And all of that is part of retail today. What retailers really need to work on is how to make their shopping more efficient. That is, how to get the average revenue per retail employee higher. Because when they get that average revenue higher, they have the ability to pay retail employees more. I've read in many articles that it's very difficult to hire retail employees. And I say the answer to that is that's nonsense. It's easy, just pay them more. But when you to be able to pay them more, you have to make things more efficient for them. You have to get tools for them to have both electronic and communication tools with them to be more efficient so they can spend more time in front of that customer to help that customer make purchases that makes that customer's life better. And that's what retail is all about.
That is Rich Hollander. Thank you so much, Managing Partner of Axcelora. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.